It's our pleasure now to introduce Raj Pannu, a member of the Alberta New Democrats. Dr. Pannu will be retiring at the call of the next election, and we will all miss him.
The reign of Raj Klein, King Klein, is about to end. And the Raging Grannies are here to mark that approaching end. Thank you for being here today, and thank you for being here every day when Albertans have needed you to be here, at least over the last almost 10 years that I've been in the legislature. You have been the real voice of the Marthas and Henrys of this province. Although Mr. Klein has cleverly used the same words when he has talked about privatizing our healthcare system, when he has tried to justify cutbacks in the social services and the programs that Albertans have wanted and worked hard to put in place. And he has referred to the same hard-working families and spoken in their name to destroy what these hard-working families have built, generation after generation, in this province over the last 100 years. The last 10 years have been particularly tough on Albertans, hard-working Albertans, thanks to Mr. Klein and his government's policies and actions and choices that they have made. I just haven't quite finished reading a long article on none other than a person that Mr. Klein calls his friend. And Mr. Klein says he is a great admirer of this person. The name that person is Dick Cheney. In the current issue of the New York Review of Books is a fascinating article on this person, Dick Cheney. It tracks and traces his career from 1960s onwards and portrays him as a person who was arrogant, selfish, determined to seek more power and concentrate in his own hands at any cost whatsoever. I think this portrayal of Dick Cheney is about right for Mr. Klein as well. His arrogance, his unfaltering pursuit of power to strengthen his own position as premier, his determined and relatively successful effort, unfortunately, of undermining the voice of the elected representatives of the government of this province, as the legislature, his successful effort to exclude any dissenting voices from the forums where important policies in the name of Albertans and their betterment are discussed and finalized, and I mean here the standing committees of the legislature. Very much like Dick Cheney, Mr. Klein has, in a steadfast and determined manner, undermined the democratic institutions in this province On his watch, we have seen, among several other deficits, an important democratic deficit also grow. Thanks to the efforts of groups like our Raging Grannies, senior organizations like SALT and many others, groups of concerned citizens, groups of enlightened citizens of Alberta, that we have been able to put at least some brakes on Mr. Klein's plans to dismantle all that we have struggled and worked hard to build over the last 100 years, particularly over the last 30, 40 years. He has worked against the will of the people of Alberta in a willful manner. But his reign is coming to an end. His policies are stopped in their tracks, particularly on health care. And I want today to express my profound gratitude to strong voices of this group of Raging Grannies. They have inspired me in the legislature. I remember the cold evenings when we stood up here, going back to the year 2000 and since, to oppose Bill 11. They were always there. I remember I was alone at the time as representative of the Alberta Democratic Party in the legislature. And I can tell you how much solace, how much strength, how much courage I derived from the presence and from the strong voices of Raging Grannies. My friends, we are proud of you. You have certainly left an indelible mark on the recent political history of this province. You have given courage, you have shown direction, you have inspired many Albertans, not just the retired Albertans, not grannies and grandpas. You have touched the hearts and minds of huge number of young Albertans. And I work with young Albertans. I've worked with them over the last 10 years. Their numbers are growing. Their voices are becoming significant and stronger thanks to the work that you and others like you have done outside of this assembly. Not inside, outside of this assembly. The power of popular voice should never be underestimated. Mr. Klein, with 73 MLAs during the time that brought forward Bill 11, could have ran through the legislation that was so determined to move forward with. But he was stopped. He was stopped because outside of the legislature, as well as inside, there were voices that he found he couldn't ignore. And without you, I'm sure, and Lori will agree with me, those of us inside who were trying to represent those voices would not have been successful had it not been for the fact that you are present here, watching over us, giving us courage and succor and support that we needed. I certainly felt that way. I felt, even when I was alone, I felt strong. I felt supported. I felt validated when I spoke inside. I remember the night when there were thousands of people here. They were frustrated by the fact that Mr. Klein, the then Minister of Health, wouldn't come out and speak. To Albertans who were gathered here asking questions about Bill 11. They broke through the doors of the assembly and went inside. They were agitated, they were angry, they were enraged. And they began banging at the front door of the chamber of the assembly. I was inside. I slipped out, came and addressed them. They were all gathered in the rotunda, and there were some up at the door, of course, some taking in, trying to take it in. And they spoke to this wonderful group of people. A glorious moment, in my view, in the political history of this province, when a glorious because of Whigs had made it clear in no uncertain terms that they weren't going to take it anymore. That the mere fact that Mr. Klein had been able to get 73 members in the Assembly did not give him the license to dismantle the most popular program, social program, public health care in this province. And Grannies were there that night and other nights. So thank you so much for the work you have done. I know you will continue to do this work. I'm going to retire, I guess, by the next election. But our work will continue. It must continue. For the sake of our children, for the sake of Martha and Henry of this province, for the sake of our grandchildren and their future. So thank you for your contribution to this point. I look forward to seeing you continue doing the work that you're doing. Albertans appreciate it. New Democrats appreciate it. I personally certainly do. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Raj, for joining us in this farewell to Ralph Klein. We'd like to sing a song to you especially, so I'd ask the audience as well to sing, for he's a jolly good fellow. For he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, which nobody can deny, which nobody can deny, which nobody can deny. For he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, which nobody can deny.
Just in case someone is newly arrived, that song is dedicated to Raj Pannu as he leaves public office and joins the rank and file of activists to stand shoulder to shoulder with us in future years. This is our tribute farewell concert to Ralph Klein, but that song was not meant for him.